What up, folks? Welcome back to Ultrazilla Toys, and today I have a review of the Star Wars Black Series Archive Collection Boba Fett. Alright, my zillions, finally got Boba Fett in the house. And by finally, I really don't mean it took me too long, honestly. What, it took me a week or so, week and a half, to get all of the Archive Collection at retail. Didn't have to pay any sort of like, you know, web shop price, which is always a couple bucks more, a few bucks more, depending on where and, you know, how and so, and then you gotta pay for shipping and whatnot. But I got Boba after getting Bosk and IG-88 and Luke all at my local Target. I got this guy on Amazon, snagged him over the weekend. He went up for a retail price. I pressed it as fast as I could, and mistakenly got a Pops Voltron as well. Mistakenly is, you know, whatevs. I was gonna get it anyway, but I was waiting for the metallic version to come in. Whatever. That's all fine. This is the guy I wanted, and I clicked as fast as I could because it didn't look like there was too many in stock, and I don't know what the stock is now of this guy. Obviously, Boba Fett is highly popular, so there's that. I didn't have the original, but I did have a KO of the original. That's how desperate I was to have one of these Black Series Boba Fett's in-house, and we will take a look at that one compared to this one later on in the review. But for now, let's see what we got here, because what we have here is really cool, but maybe not so perfect. So let's take a look. Alright, let's start out with his accessories, taking a look at his pistol here. It's a decent little thing. It's not that little either. Sculpt is fine. It's done in brown with a silver, you know, running across the barrel here. It's pretty good, and it fit in his hand pretty nicely, as you saw at the top. Of course, now it won't. But I actually had it in the other hand, but there you go with that. Oh, not fitting in his hand too good. I feel a little loose, but I guess I'd have to put the finger in there for that. But it did fit in his other hand, and, you know, honestly, I don't really need to do that because I'm not going to have him really displayed with this too much. So, fits in his holster perfectly. Boba, of course, comes with his signature rifle. Really nice here. Very, very nice. Very sharp details there. That looks really good. Very, very nice. Little scratches on the hilt there, but that's fine. Done in like a beige note, nothing on this side. And that could have been just from me putting in his hand before, to be honest. And then you got silver here, so like, you know, like weathered gunmetal. Really good looking all around. I really like it a lot. And it fit in his hand perfectly. So there you go with that. I'll just bring in the other thing without making a cut, because why not? We got his backpack here. In green, but it's got some red details there, and then like some silver all around, scuff marks up here, and, you know, whatnot. It's all pretty clean, looks pretty good. So there's that. Do these turn? I think they're supposed to, but I actually they're not. So let's not stress that plastic, because I think I just stressed that plastic a little bit. You see that? Yeah. Okay, we won't mess with that anymore. But it's a good sculpt. It's classic looking. Fits on his back pretty good. Where you see the little rocket thrusters. I'm surprised it's painted up here and not down here. There is a little errant paint there. I don't know. Is that a mistake? Fits in his back pretty good. While we have his back here, let's talk about one of my biggest issues with this, and that's this cape. First off, you know, the color is a little bland, but it's fine. It does look a little dirtied up. You can see it more on this side, which is a nice touch. And if you can see it, it is dirty looking. So there's that. Maybe it's just dirty. It feels like it's going to break off, this thing. That's for one thing. And then I don't like all these like folds in it. I don't know if it's meant to be folded like so, or I just need to iron it out, but I just don't like it. Quite like that. It just makes me feel like something is off about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a gripe for me. Might not be for you, but definitely a point of contention with me. You know, it is a frayed all around, and that's fine. So, and I do like the dirt. But you guys let me know if that's something that bothers you, and if so, if you have any ways to fix it besides ironing it. You know, obviously ironing it might just do it. So, steaming it maybe, steaming it. I do have to bring a steamer down here because I need to steam this background. All right. Otherwise, let's take a look at Fett here, starting with the head sculpt on the helmet. Looks pretty nice. I like it. There's a lot of, like, you know, roughed up silver paint there to, you know, be like scuff markings, and yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good all around. I do like the silver. It makes it look nice and metallic. This is a little warped, his little antenna here. Nothing I can't straighten out, but just to mention it right out of the box, it's a little warped. The yellow here looks good, and the black and stuff, and white on the side communicator thingy. And then, you know, the dark red there looks very, very nice. This, you know, these yellow bits here look good. All of that. The little dent mark is good, and it's painted right, so that's nicely done. Yeah, all in all, I think the helmet is pretty good. Going down here on his chest, everything looks pretty nice. Again, you got all the scuff marks. You got red there, and then you got his little symbol here, which I don't really recall what this is, some Mandalorian thingy, I'm sure. But looks good, tempoed on nicely. Here, all the paint looks good on the kind of mustardy shoulder pad, and then the silver on top of it. Here, this is pretty good, but the red is kind of coming out of this box a little bit there. I can deal with it, but it's definitely something that's there. All the folds and wrinkles on his Under Armour here looks very nice. It might just be Under Armour. This is all good on his gauntlet. I like that, silver and red. You got orange here on this little missile thingy. You got some red and blue there on top of the silver. That looks good. Really good sculpt. Again, more silver scuffage. And the sculpt on his hands are fine. Here it's a little bit different, and you do have this little tubing that goes into his clothing for whatever reason, whatever it does. So that all looks good. That gauntlet there, a little more plain, but totally fine. More folds and wrinkles underneath looks good. The tassels look alright. It probably could be painted a little better. You got some browns and some yellows in there, and some dark browns, I should say. That could definitely be a little bit painted better. Just brown here for his belt. 2 shades of brown though. So there you go with that. Looking on the back, you do have some buckles there. And if we take that off, this backpack, you do have more buckles up here, which actually look good. They actually used another shade of green for the straps. That's pretty cool. Nice attention to detail there. So that's all good there. Nothing going on, but, you know, gray sculpt work going down his legs. But in the front, of course, you do get the knee pads, which look very nice in that same mustardy color. And you got silver bits all around it. His legs do have a wash on it, as does his pockets here. These pockets are a little bit hard here, so, you know, when we get to the articulation, you'll see it's a little bit hard to move. But nice wash there. Nice wash on the bottom of his pants. You got some silver thing coming out of there, and some more silver and mustardy stuff coming out of there. The feet actually are duotoned, which is nice because my KO does not have that, and I like that. So very nice attention to detail there. You know, 2 different grays, and you got the silver little. I always thought they were like blades at the bottom of his feet. So I don't know what they are exactly, but for me, in my mind, they're blades. So other than the cape, I think Boba Fett here looks fantastic. Articulation on Boba Fett. Head is on a ball joint. It does have a hinge as well. So you're getting a decent range of motion for someone with a helmet, I think. You know, then for this dude, his articulation point is here at the bottom of his waist there, which is interesting. You do see a hinge right here. And then it can, turn with some ratcheting going there, but yeah, it's tough to get it to move too much forward and back. don't even know if this is actually a hinge. I think this might be just sculpt. Yeah, I don't think it's not a hinge. Okay, so there you go. It's a little lower than most Black Series figures. They're usually at the diaphragm, but here you got it lower, so that's interesting. For his shoulders, you have a hinge and a swivel. You have you have rotation at the elbow. Actually, it's a little bit higher than normal here, so this figure is a little bit different. You know, maybe because it's just older, an older design, but you do have it at the very bottom of the bicep there. You have the deep hinge at the elbow, which works crazy, and you can do some crazy things with his elbow there. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but he can do it. Hinge, ooh, at the wrist is very, very tight. There you go. A little scary. Swivel as well. I'm gonna guess this is a little bit harder to do. No, this is actually easier. There you go. So hey, there you have it. Splits that much. Kicks not much forward because like I mentioned before, this is pretty tough to kick past, and back not really at all. Swivel at the thigh. A double jointed knee, which works fine. Nothing as far as boot cut goes, and then you got the hinge at the foot, which is a little tight on this side, and you can rock that, but not like fully. Here, feels a little off on the foot. Check that out. So that's interesting here. This foot looks a little bit off, like it's, maybe not. Maybe not, maybe not, guys. Let me see how he stands. I think he's standing fine. Yeah, he stands fine. He stands fine. He's okay. I feel like the articulation points are a little tough here. So, you know, my KO, you'll see, has some really weird articulation. But it's not too far off the mark, for sure. Alright, let's do some size comparisons. Here's the Toy Box Fett, as well as the Mafex Return of the Jedi Fett, who's a really pretty awesome figure. He's got some problems too, but he's pretty awesome. So there you go with that. Here's with a couple little dudes with the Force Link Boba Fett, and my vintage Boba Fett. No, Dan Larson, you cannot have this one. And finally, officially here they are all together, the Bounty Hunters from Empire Strikes Back. Man, this looks cool. This is very awesome. I mean, it looked cool when I did the Bosk review too, and IG88, but, you know, with the KO stand-in. But, yeah, I mean, to have it officially done, there you go. These guys are awesome. I think Hasbro has done a good job, whether they gave us the guys, you know, in the back here, in the middle a long time ago, and they just reissued it, or the new ones, which are actually very, very nice. I think they did a fantastic job, and I'm really happy to have them, like, more so than almost anything in the collection. These Bounty Hunters just make me happy, and I think that's like across the board with most folks. At least folks I know, I don't know. People just like these Bounty Hunters. They're just cool. Alright, and for those that may care about this sort of stuff, because, you know what, I'm sure there's a lot of people that were in my boat that wanted Boba Fett from Black Series, couldn't get him anymore, and went out and got a KO, just because they're cheap. You know, like, I did that a few years back, you know, and I'm glad to have got the new ones. But for those that did and want to know if they need to replace, I think so, yes, you do. You got more paint here on the helmet, which looks cooler in my opinion. This is a little more warped on the official than it is there. But for the most part, I mean, it's pretty exact. I just do see more paint here on the front, and this is a little pixelated here, less so on the actual. And the actual bump is painted, which is nice, so that's pretty cool. Chest wise, it's just a little sharper, I guess, you know. And then over here you got, all this paint is a little pixelated, I gotta say, on the KO. The symbols here, I guess this one's a little bit better, but that one's fine too. It's not so bad. taking a look at that. Pretty much the same. Not so bad there. You do have some wash on here that you don't here. You just got some mess up paint there. The belt is the same. This is about the same. You do have wash here and wash down there, but then the wash just kind of stops at the bottom here where it goes on there, and you don't get the paint here, the dual paint on the feet that you do here. These are a little sharper than this. The guns. Now I don't have the pistols, so I can't look at that of the KO. It's here somewhere, but it's probably in a pile of lost and found accessories. This gun is way better. It's a lot sharper. The paint is a lot nicer and sharper, and even the black plastic is a more glossy here than it is here. You might like the matte, but moving to the back. Let's get through this a little quicker now. This has just more paint on it than this, and it's cleaner, as you can see there and there. So this isn't bad, but this is just cleaner and sharper, for sure. Now, I actually like this red on this a lot more than this. You know, accuracy, you know, be damned. I really don't know which is more accurate. I'm gonna guess the official one's more accurate, but I'm not 100% sure. I just really like this. It's cleaner. It's softer than this one. You know, this one's just really rough. But this has like no like dirt really. It's pretty clean. This one is dirty, so your mileage is gonna vary. You know, this one equally probably is, you know, not long for staying on this, but yeah, I feel like I like this better on that one. It is what it is. But there you go, guys. I figured you'd want to check. For those of you, you'd want me to check this out. For those of you that, you know, were in my boat and couldn't get the original figure, but picked up one of these. So there you go. Also, this black is really, really nice and glossy, and this is not. Now, the big thing as far as articulation and stuff. All of it is pretty much the same. The only place it really was terrible on this one was at his hips. The joints are like not cut. You can see here where the mark is, where it was supposed to be cut, but it's not, and instead they just plopped it right up top there. So you're not getting much articulation out of this guy. He can't really go forward. This is an easier plastic to move though than this, which, you know, probably goes for this. The quality of this is better, but at the same time, if this leg moved, I probably was going to be able to pick it up, but you don't really have much articulation forwards and back on this guy. You do a little bit, but it really doesn't do anything, whereas this does. So there you go, guys. That's my comparison. Final thoughts, guys. I am super happy to have an official Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett in the collection. Hasbro did a good job with this archive series, doing you know, some old figures, putting them out against some popular ones. This is definitely one I really needed to have. I'm a big Boba Fett fan. Not like super tremendous where I have to have everything, I guess. I mean, if this was like 10-15 years ago, I probably would. Luckily, I wasn't collecting as much back then, so yeah, right now he's not high priority, and I'm happy with the ones I have. So there you go, guys. That is my review. Despite a few problems I have with the cape and, you know, a couple other little things I mentioned throughout the review, but mostly that cape. I think he's pretty cool and definitely worth having. So, you know, if you were in my boat and needed a Boba Fett, a real Boba Fett, then definitely go seek this guy out. He is showing up at retail, a lot of Target I've seen, and like I said, I got this guy on Amazon. So there you go. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Till next time. Peace out, peeps.